It's now time to learn more about the part of the application process that all applicants hope to reach: interviews. By this stage in life, most of you would have encountered interviews in some form or the other. There is a common misconception that an interview is a one-way interrogation rather than a discussion. In fact, an interview is a dialogue between two or more people whereby answers are given in response to questions asked. Interviews are a common filtering tool used to assess a candidate's suitability for a particular role, whether that is of a university student, club member, or work position. In this section, we are going to discuss job interviews, a formal interaction between a prospective employer and employee. A job interview typically occurs once an individual has been shortlisted after reviewing resumes of potential candidates and perhaps having them engage in group discussions. A resume highlights educational and professional experience in addition to key skills, which are typically discussed in more detail during an interview. The interview gives the candidate an opportunity to provide context and specific examples so an employer can determine whether a candidate could be the right fit for role and company. Interviewing people takes a lot of time and effort, so whilst employers are keen to hire, they have to be convinced that a candidate will be suited to the role and contribute to the growth of the company. Keep in mind, however, that an interview is a conversation. It is the perfect opportunity for a candidate to find out more about the role, company culture, and also long-term prospects from an insider's perspective. Interviews usually take place in one of the following ways: in-person interviews, telephone interviews, or video conference interviews such as Skype. In-person or face-to-face interviews are the most common type of interview. They are usually deemed necessary, if not initially, then during the final round before a decision is reached. These interactions occur with the applicant and interviewer in the same physical space. When meeting in person, it's much easier to read body language and avoid miscommunication that can occur over long distance. If an initial round of interviews have already been completed, an in-person interview is essential to gauge the candidate's energy, confidence, and communication skills. When attending an in-person interview, do take along any documents that the interviewer may require. Even if you have already emailed a resume and references, it is best to be prepared and carry a few extra copies. Video or Skype interviews typically occur when participants are in different locations and time zones. They are also useful when a candidate is required to speak to multiple people at the same time, and this is the most effective means to arrange a virtual meeting. Although they aren't as intuitive as in-person interviews, it is possible to get a sense of a candidate's confidence and conduct over video. If you are doing a video or Skype interview, please make sure you have access to high-speed, uninterrupted internet, and remember to test the audio and camera settings beforehand. Also, ensure that you're suitably dressed and have a quiet area to take the interview from without any background disturbance or distractions. For an initial conversation between a prospective employer and employee, phone interviews are sometimes used. They save time and are a cost-effective method of screening candidates in the early stages when an in-person meeting may be impractical. As we know, audio communication has the benefits of being instant, but it isn't always easy to get a true sense of a person's personality.